This is Brittney with Desert Sage Herbs, and I'm a clinical herbalist and co-owner of Desert Sage Herbs in Chandler, Arizona, and I wanted to teach you how to make a decoction. A decoction is something that's going to use harder parts of the plant. For instance, more roots, stems, really hard parts. So if you had to chew on it to start tasting it, like an echinacea or a burdock or a dandelion, this is the way that you would want to prepare a more medicinal tea. So I'm going to tell you about 5 easy steps on how to make a herbal decoction. I'm also going to give you a little hint on how to mix the two together. So let's say like you have herbs that you want to make a decoction with, but you also have some herbs that are more softer parts of the plants like leaves and flowers. How are we going to do that together? So here's our 5 steps. Number 1, choose our vessel. Right? So for a decoction, we're actually going to have to use the stove. We need a hot top that can bring the water to a boil. So you're going to need a pan. So you want to choose a pan that is the right size for how much tea you want to make. I'm going to make 2 cups today. And then it also needs a lid on it. So the lid is very important, because if you just simmer your herbs with the lid off, what's going to happen is you're going to make a concentrate without, and it's going to boil down, so you're going to end up with a smaller amount of tea. So a lid can be very valuable. So number 2, what's the number 2 step? Water. What kind of water are we going to choose? Something without chlorine. So we want to do an RO water or a distilled water. So I'm going to use 2 cups of RO water. Then our number 3 step is what tea are we going to use and the amounts. So the tea that I'm going to choose is one of my favorite herbal decoctions. I always do this in my class for women's health, and it's actually a nourishing kind of supportive detoxifier for the liver, the lymph, and nourishing to the adrenal glands, supportive in the spring if we want to just do a little cleansing. And it's very good for blood sugar if we're having a lot of sugar cravings, to help us get off of that. So what we have is some dandelion root, some burdock root, and some licorice root. Just as a note, if you're thinking about using this, licorice is contraindicated in people with high blood pressure. So you could just do dandelion and burdock root. So for 2 cups of water, I'm going to use 3 teaspoons. And what that equates to is about a 1.5 teaspoon per cup. So you can vary it from 1 teaspoon to 1.5 teaspoons of herbs per cup of water. So I'm just going to simply put the herb in. And these are a nice rooty smell, very grounding, right? So I love the smell of it, and the licorice is going to sweeten it up and really support my adrenals and blood sugar. So I'm going to pour my 2 cups of water in, and I'm going to put the lid on. You don't have to put it totally on because it could potentially boil over, and so you're just going to simply kind of leave it halfway or a little crease in here so that the steam can kind of escape. So we're going to turn that on, and we're going to simmer it for about 20 minutes, and then we can turn off the heat. So we have our herbs that have simmered for about 20 minutes. At this time, we're going to turn off the heat, and we can now do the trick where we can add maybe a leaf or a flower if there's a reason why you wanted to add more of a softer part of the plant. So let's say like we wanted to add a little bit of dandelion leaf to support the kidneys. At this point, we could go right in, take some dandelion leaf, put it in, so there's no heat going on, it's just the hot water from our simmering, and we could cover this and then let this steep for another 20 minutes so you got the medicinal value out of your dandelion leaf. If we're not going to do that, we're just going to go right ahead and go to step number 5. So step number 5 is getting the vessel that you might want to store it in. and a strainer. So a strainer is very handy, and a wide mouth mason jar is great, right? Glass, so we're not getting any bad toxins from plastic since we're using hot water. So we're just gonna go ahead and strain that so that we're separating the plant material from the tea. It smells so delicious. And there you go. So now we have our wonderful detoxifying, blood sugar balancing, endocrine function supportive decoction. A little bit of fun tidbits: if you do want to add some honey or some stevia, these would be fine ways to kind of sweeten it up. With this tea, I already have licorice root in it, so it's already a nice sweetened tea. The other little trick is that we want to make sure that we do drink our tea within 3 days, because there can potentially have bacteria that can grow, and that would be not good for our health. And if you need to save it for later because you don't want to drink it all, but you don't want to drink it for a couple days, you can always store this in the freezer and pull it out over the weekend and enjoy it 5 days later. So enjoy your tea time and stay healthy. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed this video and that you come visit us at Desert Sage Herbs in Chandler, Arizona, or on our website at desertsageherbs.com, where you can find more information about the type of classes that we offer, all the different essential oils, herbal teas, and bulk herbs that we carry. I hope you join us for another video. Herbal blessings, and we'll see you soon.